TGIF, it's a Friday. It's Friday, the 8th day of August, 2025, your Day Weather podcast, brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, don't face it alone. Get an experienced local Wyoming attorney on your side. Free consultations at wyomingadvocates.com or call 307-800-1952. You deserve an advocate. Well, the cooler air is coming in now, and you're going to really notice it. Temperatures are going to be down along and east of the divide across the central and northern Rockies and especially the adjacent plains as we head through today and especially the weekend. So that will, now that the front is by, help reduce the winds a little bit. Now we're going to see thunderstorms along and east of the divide in the upslope behind this front. In fact, we'll see that during the afternoon and evening hours of today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and we may even have some overnight activity, as we'll show you here in a moment, as we could see thunderstorms forming overnight and early Saturday morning in some areas. And there's going to be a few strong thunderstorms to contend with. Now, as we continue to see the front push south like a broom, that front will be pushing that monsoonal moisture back to the south and really suppressing it once we get late in the weekend and early next week, as we'll show you here in a moment. Some smoky, hazy skies in the region, leading to some not so great air quality, especially with the winds that we have seen in the region over the last couple of days. Wildfire activity, especially in Colorado, Utah, and Arizona, pumping smoke into some areas, making, though, for some pretty scenes at sunrises and sunsets. Nice shot of the buffalo grass there near Lake McConaughey. And another shot is some virga and some color in the sky there. And actually some clouds. Some clouds now showing up in parts of California out ahead of that low and that cold front moving through the region. And boy, you can really see the system on the water vapor imagery this morning. Look at that curl. You know, this is something I mentioned earlier. You get fronts, you start to get cold fronts in August. That isn't unusual, but they usually kind of come in later in the month, not so early in the month. But this is a well-formed low coming into the area. You can see the strong thunderstorms we were talking about yesterday out ahead of it into the overnight hours, into the upper plains and into the North Dakota area. And then you can see the swirl of air and the clouds in the front as it pushes it through the region. So by noon today, this system will be in far northeastern Montana, pushing down the high and allowing that cooler air to swing in behind it. And there will be our temperature anomalies by later today, Saturday, and then into Sunday. The upslope really quite impressive. So there'll be a lot of clouds, maybe some low clouds and some fog, and then showers and thunderstorms in those darker green shaded areas, showing the bigger temperature anomaly there. So thunderstorms today will be forming not too widespread because the upslope really won't be too formed, but we will see showers and thunderstorms developing down near closer to the monsoonal moisture and around the edges. But look what happens as we get into the afternoon and evening and nighttime hours here in a moment. The severe weather risk today will be in those yellow and darker green areas. And notice the darker green's a little bit further west, so activity along that front could fire, and it may fire late, and we'll see that. So this is between 6 p.m. and midnight Mountain Time. See this area of thunderstorms right here? So this is in the evening up to midnight. Then look what potentially could happen midnight to 6 a.m. We get this line of thunderstorms developing that may or may not form, but we need to kind of keep an eye on this. For far northeastern Colorado, far southeastern Wyoming, and Nebraska, we may see some thunderstorms fire up this evening and overnight into Saturday morning. And if they do fire up, some of those are going to be strong. So kind of keep an eye on that, as we could have more activity behind this front than some forecasts are suggesting. Now, during the day Saturday, as the upslope continues to form, we get the instability here right along the front range, the I-25 corridor. We get this little spike of monsoon coming up into Arizona. And so Saturday, we do have some marginal risk. This could turn into some yellow areas right here of some strong thunderstorms, and we'll need to, unfortunately, be ready for the hail threat, especially Colorado Front Range, as we get into the day on Saturday. On Sunday, the moisture is still there, and the thunderstorms and showers will, again, like someone just took a Sharpie and just drew a line along the Continental Divide there in areas east where the moisture will be holed up. Southern Arizona, southwest New Mexico, eastern New Mexico, Panhandle region, you're into the mix as well with thunderstorms, but look at all the dryness back up here as cool, dry, stable air behind the front comes in. Now on Monday, you can really see the suppression of the monsoonal moisture from the front, pushing it and keeping it far south. Not much going on to start the week next week. Once we get into, this is Tuesday of next week, you can see the placement of the pressure systems is not good to bring the subtropical moisture back. It's more of a west to east flow across the country like this. So you're not going to have a lot of north-south with the airflow, at least in our region, to bring up that subtropical moisture again. So that will bring in some drier air and more stable conditions to start the new week next week. However, once we get beyond that time frame, we have that what we call that return flow behind the cold front. This will happen towards the middle of next week. So we'll start to see an uptick probably around Wednesday and Thursday of showers and thunderstorms coming northward again as that high in the southwestern United States begins to shift more east as we go into the middle to the ends of next week. There you can see that. So this is Wednesday and this is Thursday of next week. Then, as you can see, that high gets better placed to bring that moisture northward. Then that takes us all the way into the middle of the month, believe it or not. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.